Hello,
Hello.
hello, hello.
Oh, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Well, tonight,
Hey,
y'all, we have another Wonder Woman Wednesday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we have a powerful guest, Miss Lindsay Bartner. Her story is one of survival, strength, and transformation. So, Miss Lindsay, I want to start here. You were told that you might not survive. What was that like for you? Do you remember any of that?
Yes. I've literally built my entire business and just how I live my life around my whole entire recovery journey. But in 2007, I fully recovered from being brain dead and paralyzed. And I remember waking up in the middle of the dark. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I must be kidnapped because I can't move, I can't see, I can't speak or anything at all. And eventually, I panic so much that I exhaust myself out and I pass out from exhaustion. And the next time I wake up, it's daytime. And I'm thinking, like, I had a crazy nightmare. Oh, child, I thought I was kidnapped.
Oh,
Wow.
my.
Wow.
But it turns out the second time I woke up, it was actually daytime and I heard voices. And then a petite blonde lady walks up to me and she starts asking me questions and explaining what happened. And the car I was driving went off the opposite side of the highway, flipped multiple times before landing upside down. My head was pinned between the ground and the entire weight of the car on top of me. And I had to be cut from the car, and I was immediately pronounced brain dead on the scene. But God, because despite that, they put me on a helicopter and lifeline me to a trauma hospital where, again, by a new set of medical professionals, I was pronounced brain dead upon arrival. But God, again,
Thank
because
God. Look at God.
despite that, they proceeded to do emergency surgeries. And the only reason they placed my body on life support was until my family could be contacted. And I just remember thinking to myself, like,
Oh,
thank God I'm alive. And
Amen.
thank God I wasn't kidnapped. I still didn't know where I was, but at least I was
Amen.
safe in the hospital. So
Amen.
that's what I woke up to. One minute I'm minding my business, driving home after visiting my mother on Mother's Day. And the next I'm waking up to being told that not only had I been brain dead for the past week, but I was also paralyzed.
Wow. Look at God. Look at God.
woo.
Hmm.
And Lindsay, meeting you, you would never know that because I didn't know your story. I truly didn't. I knew of you from the Zuri Johnson story. And I saw that you were a spectacular actress, and I loved how
Thank
you
you.
emoted into that character, but I did not know your story. And I'm like, how is this possible looking at you? And I'm like, how is this possible? But God, God is
Hmm.
good. God is so good. We got to give a hand clap to God right now because
Man,
God is
Okay,
good,
clock it, clock
baby.
it. That's
yeah.
actually front page news. There were three newspaper. Does anybody read the newspaper anymore? But there
Yeah.
were three newspaper articles that were written about me, and that was the first one that's on the screen right here, and it was front page
Wow.
news, and that was literally the headline: "Miracle on the Highway: Woman believed dead is now alive in Indianapolis hospital."
Oh, my.
Wow.
Mm, mm, mm,
That's wild to say, Lindsay. You even in
mm.
the hospital bed, you were still so beautiful.
Thank you.
You were your skin. I mean, it probably sounds crazy to say. I'm an esthetician. I've been doing skin forever, but I'm like, her skin was glowing. I mean, you look beautiful. I'm like, God literally had his angels all over you.
Oh, my. Yes, yes,
You
yes.
know.
Mm.
So, yes, let me get to these questions, chat, because I can go on and on. Because I'm like, the Lord is good. Okay, we about to
Okay.
start shouting up in here. Yes, ma'am. So, when you went through that moment, what did it feel like? Did it ever feel like this is actually real? This is actually happening right now.
It took a little bit to get used to. I can remember a story specifically that really kind of just illustrates where my mindset was and how it started to shape how I moved and interacted moving forward. Because, as I mentioned, my very first thought, thank God I'm alive. because it could be worse. They could be planning my funeral right now, but here I am. Is it the life that I want to live? Absolutely not. And this is what I was given, though. So, how do I play the cards that I was dealt to the best of my ability? And it's like, no matter how much crying I do, no matter if I throw myself the world's biggest pity party, I can't go back and change what has already happened. So, how do I create the future that I desire? And that became my mindset moving forward. And I remember people would come in my room and they would ask me, like, how are you still cracking jokes and how are you attempting to smile after all you've been through? Like, I would be down and out and depressed and all of the things, and I'm like, for what? I mean, all of the things, but I can't change that, and I don't want to live that type of life. And I remember whenever I was transferred to a therapeutic hospital, there was a nurse. She came in one morning whenever it all finally hit me out of nowhere, because to that day I had not cried yet. But I woke up that morning and I just start bawling and bawling and bawling, like, oh my gosh, this happened to me. And she walked in on that moment and she had the doctor prescribe me depression medicines. And I was like, I'm not depressed. And she's like, but you were crying. I'm like, I think I earned it, but
Okay.
Rightfully so, yes. Very dramatic.
Yeah.
Yes, and I can attribute a portion of my healing to my mindset, not to be confused with positive tox. Oh, I can't talk today. Look, I've been all over the place. Toxic positivity is what I was trying to get out. But our minds create our reality. The things that we're thinking starts as our thoughts. And so again, I knew what I didn't want and I knew what I did want. And so it started with how I was thinking about what I went through, what I'm going through, what I have to come, and the life that I wanted to create.
That is so beautifully said.
Thank you.
Girl, you write poetry now. Come on now. I'm so taken by you. So let's go a little bit deeper, if you don't mind, into your experience. Did you ever feel like, wow, now I have to start all over again? Or this was a new opportunity for you?
Initially, I definitely felt like, why me? Why did this happen to me? I didn't understand, because especially with a headline like Miracle on the Highway, I didn't feel any different. Now, mind you, medical professionals was bracing my family, like, first they were saying she's not going to wake up. But then when I kept going through the days, they were like, well, if she wakes up, she's probably going to be a completely different person, because there was so much head trauma and brain trauma, and prepare for that. But when I woke up, I was still me. I didn't feel any different. I wasn't any closer to God than what I was beforehand. And so just understanding, why is this all happening? And it felt like people would come around me and expect a miracle to happen, because like, oh my gosh, I'm with her. And that was a lot of internal pressure for me, because I didn't necessarily ask for that title. And again, it would cause me to ask, why me? And kind of take me to an internal place of, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be that woman. Like, what you're desiring, am I good enough? I don't think I'm good enough, because again, I was the same person before as I was after. So I really had to do a lot of emotional recovery that nobody prepares you for.
Yeah.
That's heavy, honey. Anyone in the comments, please say yes if you've ever felt like you've had to start over, or if you've had to start over, because starting over is challenging. And then being you and people handling you, I'm sure probably with kids' gloves and all those things. And like, maybe were you treated more delicately? Did you feel by others, or were they feeling like you were just superhuman at this point?
More along the lines of superhuman. Not that they weren't treating me delicately, but at the same time, they felt like I could do any and everything. And I also took that on, attempting to be any and everything. People were calling me obviously Miracle on the Highway, and then Walking Miracle and Miracle Woman. Again, titles I never asked for. And so, in efforts to try and be that, I was saying yes to everything. Yes, I can come to your event. Yes, I can support you here. Yes, I can do this. Yes, like all of the things, doing all the things for all the people all the time, not realizing that it was tarnishing me internally and my self-care until it all came to a head. There was one point in time where I was probably averaging 2 or 3 hours of sleep per night just because I had so many different things that I was doing, and I wanted to be mom, wife, business owner, grad student, great friend, supporter, like all the things, trying to live up to that title of Miracle Woman, not realizing it was wearing me down.
My God. That's a lot to take on, honey.
Yeah.
A lot to take on. And you can tell you still have your mind. That's a blessing.
Yes.
It's such a blessing. I'm going to transition to Michael.
How you doing tonight, Lindsay?
I'm great, but I'm here with y'all.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you sharing what you just shared. I want to ask you a few questions myself. Did you have any out of body spiritual experiences through this tragedy that happened to you?
No, I didn't. I actually don't remember that entire week. Like not even the wreck itself. My last memory was just driving down the highway, listening to music, because my mom's house was about 3.5 hours from where I lived at the time. And my next memory is waking up in complete darkness. No clue where I'm at. Can't see, can't speak, can't move. And till I passed out and woke back up to then it was daytime and people were in my room.
Did anything feel different after you woke up?
The fact that I couldn't move.
Right. I mean, yeah.
Big difference. It was a complete flip of my life. I couldn't move. I literally, like Deidre was asking earlier, I had to learn all the things again. I also couldn't talk. So I was on life support and there was a tube down my throat. And so when they took that out, my vocal cords were damaged. And so initially my mom had taught me blink once for yes, twice for no. So I got a lot of eyelid muscle action going on. Very strong eyelids from blinking. And then once I finally could talk, y'all are leaning in, trying to hear what I'm saying. That's what my voice sounded like. It sounded like nothing. I thought I was speaking out loud, but eventually it graduated to a tiny whisper and just got a little bit louder and a little bit louder. For years, I could not scream at all. So thank God I've been safe. I can scream now, but it kind of hurts my throat. So it just kind of gradually progressed over time to where I had to get my voice back. I had to learn how to walk again. And I literally had to think heel, toe, as I'm walking, things that we take for granted all of the time. Those little things that really led to, oh, that's what you were, that girl, that's nothing. That's nothing in comparison to what it could be.
How did that make you feel mentally going through that?
It was challenging, but that takes me back to that point about really being mindful of the things that you're thinking, because I had to keep reminding myself, what do I want? I want to walk again.
Right.
What do I want? I want to walk without braces, without a cane, without a walker, without a wheelchair. And you asked about an out-of-body experience earlier. I didn't really have one, but I do feel like I audibly heard God say, you will walk again.
Right.
When I very first came to, I heard you will walk again. I didn't know how, I didn't know when. You will make full recovery and you will walk again. And that's what I stuck on to. And every time I wanted to give up, every time I was frustrated, every time I was in pain, that's what I thought about. I will walk again. And here's the thing, we're all familiar with faith without works is dead. And we make these vision boards and we're like, oh, vision boards don't work. But did you do the work that goes with the vision board? So I can say those things, but I had to take advantage of the tools and the resources and the amazing medical staff and therapeutic staff and amazing family and friend support that I had so that I could walk again. Because if I wasn't willing to get up and do the work, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you today. Or maybe I would, but I'd be in a wheelchair. And we forget that we have to find what is that thing that's going to keep us pushing past the obstacle, past the pain. And for me, it was holding on to the belief that I will walk again by any means necessary.
Amen. Clocked right there. Mm-hmm.
What is something you experienced that people don't usually ask about?
I'm pretty much an open book, so I probably already said it. I don't really get a new question that I haven't answered at some point because that happened in 2007. So it's been almost 20 years.
Can you believe that, Lindsay?
Congratulations on your recovery.
Thank you.
Did your view of life or death change after this happened to you?
Absolutely. It was more so just the small things don't matter and being grateful at every step of the way because it's easy to take things for granted. Like I said, we use our bodies, a lot of us, to walk every day, and we take that for granted. And me having to actually physically go through heel, toe, left, right. Okay, let me not take my legs and my feet for granted anymore. And even though I struggled to hear because a little bit of damage in my ear on one side, I didn't lose my hearing. And even though I couldn't see, I didn't lose my sight and things like that. So yes, I'm here. Yes, I can still see. It could be worse. Like I still have all my body parts. They might work a little differently, but I still have them all and they're still functioning. So I like to use this analogy like, there's the person complaining about the car, but at least you have a car because the person that's on the bus is complaining that they don't have a bus. Meanwhile, there's a person on a bike complaining that they don't have bus money or they don't have a car. Meanwhile, there's a person in a wheelchair that's upset and complaining, like wishing that they had the use of their legs to ride a bicycle. So it can always be worse. So rather than focusing on the lack, we have to pay attention to what we want and be grateful for what is, and sometimes even be grateful for what is not.
Amen.
Appreciate
Beautiful
you.
said. I love that.
We'll go ahead and pass it on to Shalonda. Thank you again, Lindsay.
Miss Lindsay, my name is Shalonda. Let's talk about the recovery process. What was rehab like for you day to day?
Oh.
I imagine.
Man, like I had to tell myself to get up. So I was literally in therapy from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, weekends and holidays included. Like I lived in a therapeutic hospital just so I could go to therapy all day long, every day. And sometimes we had evening therapy after 5. I remember when there was a holiday and I just knew we were going to have the day off. I said, woo, somebody going to bring in some barbecue. We're going to have a day off tomorrow. No, baby. My nurse walked in my room, woke me up. I said, excuse me, it's a holiday. What do you mean? What do you mean it's time for therapy? But again, I wanted to walk. So despite the pain, because sometimes the pain was so debilitating that I could be in the middle of saying something or in the middle of laughing, and it would send a sharp pain through my body where I would just freeze. Like I could cough and get a pain. I could laugh and get a pain. I could move too quickly and get a pain. And I mean like the most agonizing, sharp pain shooting through my whole back that I have ever felt. And whenever I got those, again, I had to think, what do I want? I want to walk again.
My God, Lindsay.
Was that your hardest part of recovery?
Actually, the hardest part was the emotional recovery because that's the part that no one prepares you for. Of course, everybody's like, all right, you got physical therapy, you're going to have to go through this, it's going to be painful, you'll have medications, but they don't really prepare you for the emotional recovery. Like, as I mentioned, when I got back to my home, people were calling me Miracle Woman, Walking Miracle, Miracle on the Highway, all of those things. And I didn't feel good enough to live up to that title. And so the things that it brought up within me that I had thought that I healed, but really I just kind of covered it up and pushed it down and hadn't really healed from those things. All of those things started to boil over. And I really had to figure out, you know, where does my self-worth come from? Like, whose am I and who does God call me to be? Because right now I'm trying to live up to these other titles that I didn't give myself and God didn't give me either. Like, yes, he had a hand in this miracle, but I need to live up to that and that only. And that's really when I started to put a focus on what I call the 3 pillars of self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline.
Okay.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay. And did you ever feel frustrated or tired of the process?
Absolutely. Every day, especially because I'm not a morning person. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a night owl. My brother will make a joke. One time he called me at like 2:30 a.m. And the first thing he said was, I knew your ass would be up. Oh, like, everybody knows I'm a night owl. I will take up all night over early in the morning any day. And so the fact that I had to get up early, because if therapy started at 8, which means I had to get up before 8 to have breakfast and get ready and all the things with the nurses. And when people are getting you dressed and washing your body, then of course it takes longer than when you're just doing it yourself. And I had to wake up early in the morning and do all the things. So yes, I was very frustrated all the time. But again, I couldn't think on that. I had to focus on what I wanted. And here's a quick demonstration that we can all do. So I need for everybody, so that you can still see me, take your left hand and put it to the side of your face. Up some more, Dot. You got it right here, like you about to take a nap. Like, put it to the side of your face, right by your ear, and then take your right hand and put it on the other side. You don't gotta touch your face though.
Oh.
Yeah, can you see me?
Right, he's about to take Owen Mills pictures. So, and then I want you, okay, play some Madonna. Then I want you to just turn and look at your left hand. Can you see your right hand that's behind you?
No.
Right, because you can't focus on the left and the right at the same time. You can't focus on the up and the down at the same time. You can't focus on the in, the out, the poverty, the abundance, the lack, the wealth. You have to choose one and commit to it. And so what I chose to do was commit to, I will walk again. I will be happy. I will be grateful. I will be appreciative. And again, that helped in my healing process because we're training our brain, and I won't get into the biology of all the things, but we're really molding our bodily cells and our immunity cells and our recovery cells and all of those things. And we're adding those endorphins with our thoughts and all of the things like that. And so I chose to focus on the positive because, again, you got to pick one. You can't focus on the both of them at the same time. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And the thing that you focus on, you attract more of into your life.
Amen, Lindsay. You better preach, baby.
Talk that.
Come on now.
All right. Miss Lindsay.
Yes, ma'am.
With all this therapy that you got going on, did you ever have to seek counseling?
Absolutely. And I encourage counseling for everybody. I didn't necessarily take counseling for this because I was already in literally every therapy you could think of. I probably had it. Occupational therapy, physical therapy, all of the things. But down the line, just dealing with the emotional piece of things and things that I thought I healed that really I had only surface level healed. I encourage therapy for everybody. And so, yes, I still have a therapist. We ain't met in a while, but I still have a therapist. And I encourage everybody to have a therapist.
So what mostly helped you mentally during this time?
So on the screen, you can see First Class Life, and
Yes.
that's actually an acronym. A lot of people down the line, as I went through my recovery journey, they would say like, "Oh, well, where can I buy your book?" Or, "Well, first I got to write one." Like, what? Not my book. But First Class Life became the foundation of everything I coach and speak about, because people would ask me like, "Man." Like Dietrich said earlier, I would have never guessed if you had not told me. And they would say, well, I can't believe you created this life and you're always smiling and you're always bubbly. Don't get me wrong. I have my tears and my hard days and my frustrated, like I'm human. And again, we don't want toxic positivity. So I feel emotions, but for the majority of the time, we control how we feel about things and the path that we want to take. And so after I kept getting asked the same questions, God just downloaded it to me, and First Class Life came about. And so the F stands for faithful. And what did I say? The very first thing was, thank God I'm alive and holding on to what I heard, that I will make a full recovery. I didn't know how, didn't know when, didn't know what that was going to look like, but I was faithful to that statement. And even for those that maybe don't believe in God, like it's still principle, it's still in research, it's still in all of the things. There was a study done at John Hopkins where they took rats and it was a morbid study, but they essentially saw how long until they gave up from drowning, and right before they were about to drown, they would take them out and then put them back in. And the ones that were believing that help was coming, they held on longer. So we have to believe in something bigger than ourselves, outside of ourselves. For me, that was God. For somebody else, it might be something different, but that helps increase your chances of survival no matter what the situation is. And so every letter, I literally break down what that means and how it applies to our life.
Look at God.
That's so beautiful. Look at God.
One more question, Miss Lindsay. How long did it take you to feel like yourself again?
I would say I probably never felt like myself, just a different version. And if we're really being honest, like I think that we should always be feeling like that new version of ourselves, because if we're not living, we're dying. If you think about a plant, the moment a plant stops living, it dies. And we are plants. We are living, breathing animals. And so if we're not constantly evolving, that doesn't mean don't be content with where you are now. But if we're not constantly evolving from who we were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, then what are we doing? So for me, I love life, First Class Life. I love life. I want to enjoy life with my peoples, for myself. And so I'm always making sure that I'm constantly living and breathing and growing. So I never went back to myself. My only goal is to continue to be a better version of myself than I was previously.
Man.
Well, I'm going to hand this back over to Miss Dietrich.
So, Lindsay, I'm very curious because you are devoted to your family. You have a beautiful family, by the way.
Thank you.
You know this already, but you're so welcome. I'm like, oh, so beautiful. I just can go on and on. I adore Lindsay. She's amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my love. I want to talk about something that most people can relate to and also are very curious about. How did this affect your family?
So my mom, obviously, I remember, I'll start here. No one took pictures initially because one, they were still in shock with what I looked like. Like my mom said, if I wasn't her daughter, she wouldn't have recognized me. The picture that I did send you of me in the hospital bed, that was way after I had already started, like the swelling was down, after I had opened my eyes and all of the things. So I look 10 times better than what I did initially. So of course my mom took it the hardest because she actually called my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. And she was like, it was probably 11 midnight, 1 o'clock, and she was like, "Is Lindsay back yet?" And he was like, "No, I thought she stayed the night again because she's not here." And she was like, "No, she left right after church. She's not back." And so of course that panic started to seep in. And then once she got the call of where I was, she's a whole 3.5 hours away, maybe 4 hours, but she had a drive to go through. And I just remember like her always being tearful. And she's the one that got overprotective, because then it's like, well, where are you going? Well, you driving? You by yourself? And I get it. She literally lost her daughter for a moment. And to have her back, I'm sure she didn't want to go through that again. So I can only imagine what my mother went through. Even to this day, like if something comes up, she'll get a little teary-eyed. Obviously I didn't have children yet. And then my then boyfriend is now my husband. So thank God for that. But really, I'm just grateful for the support that I did have. I think it helped everybody to just kind of grow in their faith overall, and just be grateful for the life that we do have, because it can literally be gone in the blink of an eye.
It truly can be. It truly can be. My God. That has to be, because I know how I am about my mom, and I know how she is about me. And I had an experience a few years ago that I thought I was going to lose my life. I was very close to it. And, oh Lord, Father God, I thank you right now. My mother said she could feel it in her chest. She could feel that I was in danger in her chest. And I'm like, that connection between mother and daughter is the most unreal, most beautiful, engaging. It's an indescribable experience of that type of relationship with your mother. So I know she wanted to take your pain, I'm sure. She just wanted to cradle you and hold you like a baby, like you were back in the womb. She could have probably wanted to put you back in the womb to protect you, God. So with your relationship with your husband, like boyfriend to husband, going through that trauma, a lot of people drop off the face of the earth. They're like, too much.
Yeah.
How did he handle that? Like, did you ever tell him like, this is not for you, be on your way?
Nope.
It's gonna get bad before it gets better, like.
If anything, I was like, so when you coming to visit? No.
Okay.
I don't know his exact moment, but I know for me, like I would joke about it before, but that's when it solidified for me that he was the one, because so all of my hair had been shaved off with the wreck and everything, and I had a lot of head surgeries and head trauma. My head was actually split open and it had to be repositioned back together. And so when they went in for surgery, any hair that was on my head was shaved off. And he had braids at the time and nice, long, beautiful hair. And I remember him asking me if I wanted him to cut his hair. And I remember that moment. And then there was another moment where he gave me a bath. the non-sexual
Does
kind.
He have a brother? No.
Yes. Like my nurse came in to give me a bath, and instead of my nurse doing it, he did it. And again, it just solidified like, all right. Okay, guy.
I'm sorry, y'all. Lindsay had my glasses all fogged up and stuff in here. I'm trying to clean them. I can't find my glass cleaner.
So just his support, and mind you, he was hours away. Like we didn't live in the same city yet, and so he was also hours away from where I was. And so him just driving. I remember his family telling me about his response when he found out, and how he was just anxious to get to me. That my man. I
heard that.
My baby.
Screaming from the rooftops, honey.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Because I've seen it, working in healthcare, I have seen people literally.
Yes.
They walk in, they walk right out.
Yes.
and you never see them again. I've seen people literally leave their children in the emergency room, kiss them goodbye, and walk away forever.
Mm.
And it boggles me when people can do that. But I also understand it too, because everyone is not built to be a caregiver. Everyone is not built to, we all know our level of what we can handle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like this, if you can't handle this, you got to be on your way, and that's, your husband is a G. Okay. He's a real G. What is your husband's name, by the way?
Tyrone, don't you call him
Tyrone?
You
either.
better call
You called Tyrone and he
Tyrone.
pulled up. Thank you,
Call.
Tyrone. Thank you, Tyrone, for being a real brother, honey, for being
Yes.
a real king. Thank you,
Yes.
Tyrone, because you got a real queen right here. We appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, who showed up for you and who didn't show up for you? Because I know that can be surprising.
To be honest, the people that didn't show up are not in my life anymore, and not necessarily where it's like, oh, I'm cutting you off, but more so like, I don't care. Like, I have all these people that are showing up for me. Again, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And so that's what I'm going to choose to focus on.
Yes.
Of course, there were some people that showed up in the moment. It felt like to be more nosy. Okay. Go make sure you put all the good stuff in front of whatever you're saying, because baby, I'm here and I'm still smiling and all the things. But overall, the people that didn't, I couldn't even tell you who it was, because the overwhelming support that I had. My mom was calling all her people was calling all their people. Like, when I say there was probably a literal prayer chain going around the U.S., everybody was calling everybody to pray. And I'm just thankful that I did have a praying mother, because again, they were telling her like, all right, now that you're here and you've seen her, it's time to pull the plugs. And no, ma'am, her praying all night with her friends and her church family. And then my friends, I am grateful of the level of support that I did have.
Miss Lindsay, did you say they told your mom to pull the plug?
Yeah. That's
how do you
the
say
only
that to
reason
someone?
I was on life support was until my family could be contacted. But they didn't even expect my body to make it on machines. So whenever I was still making it via machines, they were like, all right, well, now that you're here, there's no, like, she's brain dead. There is no coming back. To this day, if you Google what happens to somebody that is brain dead, it'll say there is no coming back. They're a vegetable for the rest of their lives. So there's nothing, yet here I am again, but God. So
but God.
Yeah.
Because I've heard this so many times, and I've heard people, and I had a man years ago. He was he did electrical work, and he was electrocuted. And he was praying to God, Lord, I don't want to die right now. I don't want to die. And I could smell his burning flesh coming into the ER before I even saw him. And that man pleaded with the Lord. He lived. He is still alive today. And the doctor told him that he was a dead duck, and threw his paperwork away, and the shredder walked out the room. That doctor is now deceased.
I bet.
He died 3 years after that. Only God. Only
God
God.
said only I.
Only God. You never doubt God. No matter where you are right now, anyone right now who is being challenged and feeling frustrated right now, say yes in the comments right now, because God is with you right now. He's with you right now, because he is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And no one can call the curtains on you until he says it's time to go home.
Amen.
Clock
Amen.
it.
Amen.
Man.
So without a shadow of a doubt, you did feel supported. I mean, I don't even have to ask that question. You did feel supported.
I definitely did. I still have, eventually my mom had started a notebook where everybody that came to visit me had to sign. And I'm glad she did, because otherwise I wouldn't have known, because I had no recollection of that. And then I remember she taught a Sunday school, and all the kids from the church had drew pictures and wrote letters, and she gave them to me. I have a couple different things of just all the support. Facebook was a newer thing, and where people were writing on my wall all of the things. And I know there's probably somebody listening right now and they're like, well, I'm by myself. I don't have family. I don't have friends. I don't have the support like that. And I just want to say, like, God is always there. So you always have that presence. It's just, are we open to receiving healing from him? But also, once you're good there, you sometimes have to go out and find your support or make your support.
Yes.
Don't automatically assume that you're going to get it from your family, because we see that doesn't happen, because people are people and they're gonna people. Humans are humans and they're flawed as well. So sometimes we have to go out and find or create the support that we seek. Again, that works part of having the faith.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you feel overwhelmed with that level of, like, emotionally overwhelmed, I should say, by that level of love and care? Did you ever feel unworthy of that?
Absolutely. Just because I had to struggle with being good enough. And so every person breathing on this earth has something called limiting beliefs. And it's a set of unconscious beliefs that we hold internally that dictate how we behave and how we show up in the world and how we engage and interact with each other. And most of us don't know what they are. That's why it's called subconscious, because it sits just below the conscious awareness. But for example, if you've ever been through a cycle and it feels like you just keep repeating the same cycle and you say, like, why did I react like that? Or why do I keep finding myself in the same situation or the same type of relationship despite me wanting or desiring otherwise? It's because your subconscious beliefs are controlling your behaviors. And that's why you keep repeating the same cycles, because you haven't learned what they are and how they show up in your behaviors and how you think and how you interact. And so with that, my lifelong one was not being good enough. And obviously, I don't know this as a child, but it led me to being an overachiever, a perfectionist, a people pleaser. Because if I'm perfect at all these things, if all these people like me, or I'm good at all these things, then I must be good enough. And I know exactly where it stemmed from. It stemmed from having an absent father. My mom, amazing, supportive, loving, couldn't ask for a better mother. But my father was here and there. Like, I knew him, and when he was around, I loved it. But when he wasn't, it was, why aren't I good enough? And that was what led to my behaviors. And that goes back to what I was saying about thinking that I had healed those feelings of not being good enough, only for them to completely boil over once I experienced the wreck. And so when I'm being showered with all this love, thank you, I appreciate it. But internally, am I really good enough? Call me Miracle Woman. Am I really good enough to be that person? And so that is the part of that emotional recovery that I mentioned, just having to deal with the self-worth piece.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing with me.
Very powerful.
Focus on you, honey.
Very powerful story, Lindsay. I really appreciate you coming on the show. We got a few more questions before we get out here, but if you didn't mind, let's get realer than real and talk about you a little bit.
Absolutely.
What do people misunderstand about strength?
That it looks like weakness sometimes.
Okay.
We always like to put on our cape. We always, I will say that it's not as glorified as it was, being the strong friend. And we'll hear people say, check on your strong friends more often. But unfortunately, we still have so many miles to run when it comes to what strength looks like, especially in the Black community, and especially with males specifically, just understanding that just because I'm crying doesn't mean I'm weak, or just because I walk away doesn't mean I'm weak. Just because I'm choosing to set these boundaries for myself doesn't make me weak or anything like that. So just knowing that sometimes strength actually looks like weakness.
Okay.
Well said.
What does strength look like on your worst days?
Oh, asking for help. Especially, I'm a very much independent. You want to do it? No problem. I got it. And I'm very much on the go. Like, oh, I've asked you 5 times. No problem. I won't ask you again. Let me get to it.
Don't need you.
And when I want to do something, I'm ready to do it right then, not like wait on all the people. And that part really clicked for me after I became a mother. And I have 2 teens right now, and they're both, when they were younger, I remember I'm getting dressed. Like, again, I've always been naturally independent, just in general. And so I wear a lot of dresses and a lot of jumpers and jumpsuits and things. I know how to work my body just right where I can zip that baby up myself without any help. And I remember one day I was getting ready when my children were smaller, toddlers, and I just didn't feel like doing the things, and they happened to be standing right there. And I was like, can one of you zip up my dress? And the way they started arguing over who gets to zip up mommy's dress, it really clicked. Like, if we will just ask for help, the people that care about us and the people that we show up for are more than willing to help us. Because sometimes, especially me, anytime I ask for help, I don't like to be a burden to nobody. So me asking for help in my brain is now I'm being a burden, especially when usually people always come to me. So I don't want to ask you for help because I don't want to be a burden on you, and I don't want you to think of me any less because I'm coming to you when you usually come to me, type of thing. And that's when it really clicked. Like, we have to allow people to show up for us. And we can't be mad when nobody's showing up when we never give them the opportunity to show up.
Ooh. Oh, that hurt a little bit, Lindsay. Oh,
snatch some edges
right now.
I mean, they say a closed mouth don't get fed. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to put the pride to the side and ask for help sometimes.
That's right, Cool Breeze.
Do you feel people glamorize healing too much?
I would say they glamorize the strength that we already talked about, not so much the healing. I am glad that healing is more mainstream in the media and being talked about a lot more, and just understanding what healing looks like for you.
When it was time for you to start your process of walking again, did you ever feel afraid to move forward?
No, because I was ready. I was like, Lord, okay. I wanted to walk right when I popped my eyes open. But no, it was painful. Sometimes it was frustrating, but again, I knew what I wanted, and I knew the only way to get there was for me to utilize the tools and the resources that God had placed in my life, because that's something else. Sometimes we are crying out to God and asking for an answer or to heal this pain, not realizing that He already gave us the tools to do it. And the reason you feel like He's not answering is because He already gave it to you. But just because it didn't show up how you wanted it to show up, you're ignoring it, thinking that He never answered. Meanwhile, He's looking at you like, girl, if you don't turn around, it's been right there the whole time. You just have to use it. And so that's what I did. I got up and I went to my therapies. I got up and did all the things. I had to go through something called shock therapy, which is just what it sounds like. And it did not tickle. So if you ever seen like on TV or in the movies where they connect a bunch of wires to somebody's body, that was me. And they literally, it was like being electrocuted on purpose. They started at a low voltage.
And how your body reacts to it.
Yeah, it gradually increased the power as we go. And I had to do that every day. Essentially, they were jump starting my nerves like you would jump start a dead battery on a car in efforts to get me to walk again. And a lot of people would give up at just that, especially because none of the things that I was doing, did they know if it would work? Like, we're doing them, but the whole time, this might not work. You probably won't walk again. You may not walk again. And I get it, because they can't speak in absolutes, obviously, because I'm still here. But nobody knew if it was working. So a lot of people would say, well, if you don't know if it's going to work, then why would I subject myself to that pain? Not realizing that sometimes we got to go through it to get to it. And because I wanted to walk again, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go do this thing that is extremely painful, even though they don't know if it'll work, because what else do I have to do?
So has this experience made you like fearless of stuff?
No, absolutely not. I still get very
No,
fearful.
you know how people be like, I survived this, I ain't scared of nothing, you know.
I'm from
Well,
Compton.
baby, I am not one of them.
Right, okay. You still human. Okay, okay.
Yes, I still very much value life. There's sometimes I'll watch little videos and be like, I'm not risking my life like that. No,
Right.
not this precious life that we have. But then there still are times where it is scary to show up. Anytime I'm trying something new, like when I started acting, I had to move before I let the fear catch up to me and stop me from attempting to act. Because I hadn't had any classes or any training whenever I started my acting or anything like that. And I remember seeing an audition that was literally a couple hours, and it was like, I'm just going to go. And I had to make myself move and go to it before I allowed the fear to catch up and stop me, which a lot of times is what we do. We allow the fear to start whispering in our ears, you're not good enough to do that. You don't have the training to do that. You don't have the money. You don't have the education. You're too old. You're too young. Whatever our inner voice is telling us, and it stops us from showing up in our own lives. And if we don't create our own lives, somebody else is going to create it for us.
Yeah.
And usually it's your benefit, not yours.
Yeah.
So you, Shalonda.
Well, Miss Lindsay, you built a career around mindset. So let's go there. What mindset shift changed your life the most?
Just focusing on the positive. Literally everything I coach about in the First Class Life acronym, the F being faithful, I being intentional, the R being reflective, S being self-care. If you notice in First Class Life, there's 3 S's, and that stands for the 3 pillars of self I mentioned earlier: self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline. The T being thankful, the C being confident, the L being leadership, the A being action oriented, because you can't have the F without the A. So that entire First Class Life framework really is what shifted my mindset. I didn't know it at the time that that's what I was building and going through and creating, but that's literally everything that helped me in my recovery process, and moving forward help the people that I speak with or interact with or that I coach with. Literally how I live my life. Hence why it's called First Class Life, creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. I am definitely one of those practice what you preach, because what I preach is what got me to where I am and where I will continue to go.
That was going to get me to my next question. What are the 3 pillars of self in simple terms?
Self-care, self-worth, and self-discipline. And those 3 pillars subconsciously impact every single thing we do in life, both personally and professionally. And they're all 3 connected to each other.
Amen. So how do you help people stop overthinking?
Well, it depends on how they're overthinking in the first place and what they're overthinking about. The first thing I would tell them to ask is, the thing that I'm overthinking about is, can I control what it is that I'm thinking about? If the answer is yes, okay, then what actions do I need to take to control the thing that I can't stop thinking about? If the answer is no, okay, well, then what forms of self-care or release do I need to take to release this thought? Because no matter how much I'm focused on it, I can't change it.
Right.
So there's no point in hyperfixating on it or focusing on it, because I can't change. Just like if it started raining right now, I cannot change the rain. Like maybe I was going to have a picnic, but I can't make it stop raining. I can say, please, please, please stop raining, but I can't make it stop raining. So what am I going to do so that I still experience what I wanted to experience by having that picnic outside? Things like that. So asking yourself, can you control it? And then moving forward from there is the first step that I would take.
So recreate the scene, huh? Okay. So One last question. How can someone start rebuilding their life today?
Work through the first class life.
I heard that, girl.
Like that's literally the answer to everything.
First class life.
Yes, first figure out what it is that you want. You have to be intentional about the life that you're creating. Otherwise, like I mentioned earlier, somebody else is going to create it for you, and usually in their favor, not yours. So everything that we're doing, we're either creating forward or we're staying stagnant in the things. And if you don't know what you want, how can you expect life to give you what you want and the people around you to help you get to what you want? Oftentimes we focus on what we don't want, but again, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And the more you focus on what you don't want, that's why you keep finding yourself in those situations that you don't necessarily are that fond of. So we have to identify what is it that I do want. And if you don't know, that's okay too. But okay, let me do the work so that I can start to know what it is that I want. Sometimes we're so clouded by other people and their voices. Oh, this is what my parents want. This is what my kids want for me. This is what my spouse wants for me. This is what my friends say I should do. This is what social media says I should do, that we get so cluttered in our brain. And that's why we don't know what we want, because we're so busy filling up our brains and our bodies with everything that everybody else told us that we should want for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we're the ones that wake up with ourselves and go to bed with ourselves. So identifying what it is that you want and being specific. Because if you're not specific, then don't complain when you don't quite get what it is that you want. I use this analogy about bread in a store. Think about a grocery store and the bread aisle. It's literally a full aisle of 50 different thousand breads that you could choose from. Hamburger bread, hot dog bread, wheat bread, white bread, multi-grain bread, all of these different types of bread, from cheap to expensive and all in between. And if I said, Deidre, please go to the store and get me a loaf of bread. You're like, okay, sure. You go to Walmart, you grab some bread off the shelf, you come back and you hand me bread. Oh, thank you. I'll take the bread. Not really what I wanted, but thank you for getting bread. I'll take it. I'll accept it. And a lot of times that's what we do. We settle with what we're given, especially when we're not specific. And it's like, I asked you to get me bread. You brought me bread. It's not really fulfilling me the way I thought it would, but thank you. I got what I asked for. Versus if I said, versus if I said, okay, Deidre, go to Walmart, specifically the one on 3rd and Jackson, and you're kind of tall, so you might have to tilt your head down a little bit, walk to the middle of the aisle, and right there is some Blue Bunny bread. It usually costs about $2.99, but inflation, so it might be $3.08 today, but it's in this type of packaging, and I promise you, if they're out, no worries. Just get the one that's right next to it. It's in a red packaging, but it looks the same. Bring me one of those, and you come back and you bring that to me. Girl, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you. But I was more specific in my directions and in what I wanted. And so you literally went to the Walmart on 3rd and Jackson. Is that what I said? 3rd and Jackson. You walked to the middle of the aisle. You're taller, so you tilted your head down a little bit, not too far down because it's in the middle a little bit somewhere. And you found the Blue Bunny bread that was $2.99, $3.08 with inflation, and you got it. And just because you were like, you know what, I like her, you got the other one too, and you brought me 2 loaves of bread.
Mercy, Jesus. I love you so much.
Okay. Oh my God.
Do create your life.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
Deidre?
Lindsay. Yes, ma'am.
I
So
was passing
Lindsay.
it to you.
Yes, I got you, baby. So Lindsay, this has been so powerful. You don't realize how much I've been trying to choke back, girl, and like keep it together because I don't have waterproof nothing on right now. And I'm an ugly crier too. Truly. You don't realize how proud I am of you. I've only got the opportunity to work with you for a little bit, but your energy, your heart, your story, your testimony. You don't realize how powerful you all are, sweetheart. And
Thank
it's not because you're superwoman, but because of your integrity in your heart and the mind that you have.
Yes.
So thank you for blessing us with your spirit and coming onto this beautiful, beautiful podcast. We appreciate you so much.
Truly,
My
truly.
pleasure.
What would you say to someone right now who feels stuck?
Sit with the quiet.
Mm.
Again, sometimes we can't move forward because we are struggling to even understand what we want, and we have a lot of clutter. Sometimes it's literal physical clutter around us. A lot of times it's mental and emotional clutter. Find a therapist to help you
Mm.
deal with that emotional clutter, because it can be hard for us to pull ourselves out of something by ourselves sometimes. And again, that's why we have to utilize each other. I'm a firm believer that we are all here to help one another. I mentioned earlier about asking why me, and eventually I shifted my mindset to why not me. And there are things that we go through in life that are meant to help other people, period. And
Huh.
sometimes we find out who that is or what that purpose was, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we find out immediately, sometimes we find out years later, and sometimes we may never find out. And we have to be okay with that, because just like we're meant to help other people are also meant to help us. But again, we have to be open and willing to allow that help in, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, or the things like that. So sit with the silence and don't be afraid to face the hard questions, because you can't heal what you hide. And so the more that you keep it hidden, eventually it's going to boil over, and it's probably going to boil over in the most inconvenient of spaces at the most inconvenient time, and make it worse than if you would have just faced it head on. It's going to be painful. You're going to be frustrated sometime, but the more you can push through and find your why, find your intentions, and really work on desiring and finding that healing and support, then you'll only come out better than ever on the other side. And then you'll look back like, girl, you was tripping. Look at us now.
Lord have mercy. So, Miss Lindsay, what is next for you, my love? What you got going on, mama?
Right now, travel basketball just started. So we are heavy in that, heavy in dance competitions, on a personal level. So I'll be momming real hard over these next couple of months. But outside of that, I'm looking forward to some films that I'm cast in. Looking forward to filming those and getting that experience and furthering my just growth as an actress. And professionally, looking forward to some retreats that I'm planning, and just continuing to make an impact as best as I can. And just, I really don't take for granted what God has placed on my life. And I'm just grateful that He has trusted me with this position, and I don't take that lightly. So I'm just down for the ride. Like, I'm still here. Like, Lord, wherever you want to take my life. I would prefer no more pivots that we ain't discussed.
I hear that, baby. It's none of that
beforehand. But you know, wherever you want to take me, I'm willing to go there, and I know that it'll all work out for my good, and I'm happy for the experience that I get to help people feel and create.
Amen.
Yeah. Lindsay, I thank you again, my love. I'm getting from what you just said, peace be still. Let the Lord work it out for you. I so appreciate y'all truly joining us for Wonder Woman Wednesday. Make sure you stay connected, stay inspired. We'll see you next Wednesday, 7:30 Central Time. Y'all be blessed in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, everyone.
Stay on, Shalonda.
Okay.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all have a good night. Sorry. I'm so slow, man.
Yeah, man. You be be acting up.
Whew.
That was a good show, man.
Yeah, that was a good show, man. That's what's up, man. Man.
And it went the time it's supposed to win. It went real good, man.
Yeah, it went good. Yeah.
No mess up.
No, Dietrich's got us on. You know, Dietrich run a tight ship. You feel me?
Yeah, buddy.
She changed it up a little bit. I had to go to my other pair. I'm like, oh, okay, that's where she at. But yeah, I'm finna have a live with Rob about 9 o'clock, man. We're gonna talk about the racism.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm happy that they was able to arrest them guys that did that to Jaleel.
And they finna go to prison.
Yeah, I mean, you know. But it's just that, like, sometimes, man, I think we forget as being black people, them boys just didn't wake up one day and say, I hate niggas. This was how they was taught and raised, you feel me?
Yep.
And it's like we as black people, we always want to be the victims and shit, you feel me? Just because that happened to Jaleel, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wouldn't have had that same type of
outcome,
composure, been able to, no, really his composure and the way he was acting, that saved their life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I seen a post, somebody was like, let's go to Paris and all that. Why would you want to go to the problem? You know what I'm saying? Now it's like that was an isolated incident. You think then white people gonna act like that in the daytime?
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? You see they got the dispatchers under investigation now.
Oh yeah.
Remember I told you when Jaleel probably was answering the call, they knew exactly who was doing what they was doing. So we're not gonna let people come out there. And then the police had even stopped their truck 20 minutes after Jaleel had made the call, and they let him go. You know what I'm saying? See, when you in isolated incidents like that, Paris, it's like, okay, I know everybody out here. I know who hate niggas. I know mostly the whole town probably hate niggas because that's how it's, you know what I'm saying? The farther down south you get in Illinois, that's how it is, you know? So it's like the pressure that was put on, it was just one of them, look, y'all don't have to bite the bullet and go to jail, you feel me? Because now it's too much pressure on Paris.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? But like my boy Rob was saying, he was like, okay, that's all good and dandy, but what's going on right here? How they target us, how they make us get out the cars with insurance and all this, you know what I'm saying? We legal, but still get out the car. You see what I'm saying? It's still like they still be pushing it, you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So we was gonna touch on that about 9 o'clock. I mean, you know, if you want to join, you could.
Sure.
I was just letting you know.
Yeah.
Then we was gonna talk about that a little bit. Just talk about, you know what I'm saying, niggas in general, you know. Like it's hard to really be on a nigga side when we know how niggas is. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's why when I said what I said earlier to your thing, like, you know what I'm saying, I ain't here to save the world. You feel me? Because a lot of these niggas don't want to be saved. You feel me?
I feel you about that.
Yeah, they just want to be coddled, took care of. You feel me? I want to shoot people, but I don't want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? They want to turn into Gucci Man. You feel me?
Right, and then they want to play the victim.
Yeah, you feel me? And it's like we can't take, because that's just like niggas, right? Take what happened to Jaleel, now they want to make it their problem. That ain't how life work, bro. You feel me? Just be glad that God didn't put you in that position to get, because us being niggas, we would have got our heads blown off. They would have buried us. Nobody would know where we was at. You feel me?
Yeah.
So with the position that God put Jaleel in, that helped for it to get exposed. You see what I'm saying? It helped for people. It helped for people to understand. Don't go fishing out there. Remember what happened to Jaleel? You see what I'm saying? See, sometimes niggas got to get burnt. You see what I'm saying? For them to know not to touch the stove. You feel me? But shout out to that, man. I mean, you know, racism is something that always going to be a part of life because it's differences. Just how, like, we be racist to our own race, but we don't call it racist. We call it hating. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to be racist to you because you got this going on. I'm going to be racist to you because you got, you know, you can tell which way to go. You know left from right. But when it deal with racist, because we're black, they're white, they're Mexican, they're Asian, now it's racist. Now it's a hate crime. You see what I'm saying? But
Yep. So fucking right.
that's why it's really like we have to wake up and realize that sometimes things happen because it's for us to learn something from it. You feel me? It's not for us to jump on the bandwagon. Now we want to go be niggas to a place we know they hate niggas. You see what I'm saying? See, a white man can get away with killing us if it's more than one of us. I feel threatened. You feel me? Because the fact that they feel that we black, we powerful. We don't even have to have a gun for them to shoot us. Is the fact that they feel like their life was in jeopardy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta stop acting like that, Shalonda. You feel me? But yeah, man, me and my boy Rob, we finna come on here at 9 o'clock, man. And you know, we gonna say what we gonna say. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Lindsey Vernon, man, the things that God puts people through just to show that the glow of life. You feel me?
And she's a wonderful example.
I know people that got shot and they still in the wheelchair because they didn't go to their classes. They didn't go to their therapy. You feel me? Yeah. They're just like, fuck it. I can still roll a blunt. You feel me? You know.
But you know what? I had a little cousin. Some people drowned him in a pool, right?
Uh-huh.
And the doctors told his folks, you know, he dead. He ain't gonna make it.
Right.
Next thing you know, he lived through the machines. They said, oh, he gonna be a vegetable the rest of his life. Man, my mama went in the nursing home. They had put him in, put a pair of shades on his face. Man, that boy screamed so loud. Guess what? He walking, talking right now today.
Right. That's what's up, man. I lost my brother to, man. He rest in peace, Iceberg, man. He had had a seizure in the water, man. He was brain.
Somebody calling his phone. Well, I don't know if I should leave. I don't really want to go. I don't really want to stay, but I gotta get it together.
Oh, man. Somebody called, man. I don't know why they be doing that. They see I'm live. I told you when people would call the phone, it take the audio away or something.
I know, I seen it. I said somebody calling.
Right, didn't want nothing. What you doing? On live? But yeah, Shalonda, so just check the live out, man. I know that might be a touchy subject for you, you know, you deal with them people. But
you know,
we just gonna get a little, we ain't gonna get ignorant, we're just gonna be real, you know.
I'm coming on there, okay.
Okay. I'm gonna hit you in like 20 minutes.
Shut up.
All right. Oh, hold on. Man, make sure I stay tuned next Wednesday for the next Wonder Woman Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? I'll be back live in a minute. My boy Rock gonna come on. We're gonna talk a little shit, man. Y'all have a good night though.
Yeah, steady fucking the real money, like damn, what the fuck is you doing with me? I ain't even gotta show him a dime, I pop out fresh, I'm still influencing. Come on, the feds in the city is getting raw.